And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Skip-Bo Dice Game. I gotta be honest, I hate Skip-Bo, but I'm a big fan of these dice games that exist. We call these roll and write games, where you roll stuff and write it down. This game comes with erasable markers and boards, and you'll write on those boards. So this has the idea of Skip-Bo, which is building numbers on top of each other, and puts it in this category. Roll and writes come from games like Yahtzee. So this has that style, but it's a very small little game. Let's see how fun it is. In this game, you're trying to get the most points. Points are stars. And so on a player's turn, each player has their own board and a pen. You're going to roll all these dice and look at the numbers that you have rolled. So here I rolled 10, that's what the 0 is here, 5, a 6, 2 9s, and a 1. So I can cross off, I'm like, oh, I can use the 1. So maybe I'll use the 1 here. So I'll color this circle in, which means I have a point because there was a star above it. And then I could fill in a 2, but I didn't roll any 2s. I rolled 5, 6, and 9s and a 0, but I can't. Now the bonus die can be used by any player. Any player could use the 10, but no one was able to. So then everyone can pick one of the dice that I didn't use. So let's say it's these dice here, and they put in the bottom. So maybe I'll put a 5. And this is called a stockpile, so you can put that there. So let's say the next player rolls. I'm only able to use the 8. I can't use the 8, but let's say when they're done, these were left over. So now I can put the 4 on top of the 5, or I can put the 4 or the 10. So maybe I'll put the 4 here, but I could put it on top of the 5. And then the next player rolls. They got another 10, which I can't really use. And when they're done with their dice, there's a 5 and a 7. So I decide to put another 5 here. So now it's back to my turn again. All right, come on, let's get some good numbers here. Do I have a 2? I don't have a 2, but I do have this SB, which means Skip-Bo. And when you have an SB, you can basically, that's wild, but you put an S there because if there's a star, you don't get the star for that spot. But I also got a 1, so I'm going to take the 1 up here. I'm going to take this. It gives me another point. So I've used those 2. I can't use the 4, the 7s, or the 9s. But let's say, for example, instead of rolling these numbers, I had rolled a 3. Then I could say I'm going to use the 3 here. Then I'm going to use this 4 that I've been stockpiling. Then I'm going to use this 5 that I've been stockpiling. And I can kind of work my way up in that regard. And let's say that this die had been a 6. Then I would have said, oh, now I'm going to use the 6. And whenever you use the bonus die, you can re-roll it. An 8, can I use an 8? No. Was there 7 here? No. So you could possibly fill in quite a few numbers as you go through. So when you use the numbers here in your stockpiles, you can only use the top one. So I have another 5 that I could use there. And if you fill them all the way up to the top, then you get a free Skip-Bo that you can use, which again lets you fill one in but doesn't give you any points. You also have 3 re-rolls you can use over the course of the game and 1 free Skip-Bo, but for each one of these you don't use, they're worth a point. When someone completely finishes a row, they'll circle the first place reward for that row, which is 3 points. Then everyone else can't get 3 points, so then the next person finishes it will get 2 points, and the third person to finish it will get 1. When one person has finished 3 rows, then the game is going to end. You add up all your points that you've gotten, plus a point for each of these you didn't use, and whoever has the most points is the winner. It's a very small box game, comes with the 4 boards. The markers are okay, they've kept working so far. I wish they had included erasers, but it is what it is. The dice are fine. The 10-sided dice are fine. The other ones, I don't know, they have the look to them. I'm just not a big fan of it. They're easy to read the numbers, and the Skip-Bo's pretty clear, and they roll fine. They're just okay dice. The components for this game are okay. So how fun is it? The answer is not very. Man, this game gives you the illusion of choice, right? So everyone can use the bonus number that's rolled, which at the beginning of the game, if it's a high number, you just sit there. Meanwhile, everyone waits till they roll some 1s or if the bonus die rolls a 1. That's all you can do. Now, yes, you can write numbers down in your stacks, but you don't know what numbers anyone's going to roll at any given point in time. So you just write down numbers, and you try to write down different numbers, and maybe you can write down 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you get it, you can just go circle, 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 circle. But at the end of the day, you just roll, see what happens to you, pick some random numbers, hope they work well. The game does give the option to re-roll. It does give you the option of when to use those skip bows. Although, again, very obvious, use them on a spot that's not worth a point, so who cares? Ah, man, this game is so boring. You roll the dice and you see what happens. I don't mind these roll and write games. I like quite a few of them, but I want them to give me a meaningful choice. This doesn't give you any meaningful choices and doesn't have any kind of sense of fun. Yes, the bonus die could be rolled multiple times, but it likely isn't. Oftentimes it will roll and the person who rolled it goes, I can't use this number. Everyone else is like, well, guess we'll just wait till someone else rolls it then. It's fast, I'll give you that, but I'm just not a fan of this one at all. It gives you the illusion of choices, but at the end of the day, it's just a bucket of randomness. Dice Tower Judgment, random rolling.